Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite animes. And today I'm going to be finally doing an anime review on Neon Genesis Evangelion. So, Neon Genesis Evangelion is an original anime written and directed by Ano Hideaki, and it is animated under Studio Gainax, and it is an anime released between 1995 till 1996. And yeah, so well, 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 ladies and gentlemen, I have finally watched Evangelion. Yes, and here are my thoughts. Now, before I start this review, I would like to say that this actually isn't going to be a review. This is going to be essentially me talking about my experience watching this anime, and I guess in a way that is kind of a review, but I hate to disappoint you guys, but I will not give this anime a rating. I will not. And so if you're here to look for some really expert opinions on this anime, a very deep analysis and breakdown, I'm sorry, I will not offer that in this video because I just cannot. I just cannot. This is a very special anime because God damn it, are you serious? This is a very special anime because this is I guess the first anime ever that I've watched that I seriously cannot give a rating to because it is just so damn, I don't even know what's going on. Now, okay. So first of all, Evangelion is an anime that is crowned by the whole world, the anime community. It is crowned as one of the greatest and most influential animes of all times. A lot of people talk about this anime, and a lot of people talk about how high, highbrow, high octane, how psychological and philosophical and deep and complex this anime is. It's just so deep and intricate that it basically defeats any other anime. And so I've been hearing rumors like this, and it has piqued my interest for a very long time already. But for a long time, I've been scared to watch this anime because I thought this is the kind of anime that would leave you extremely depressed and empty. And maybe it is for a lot of its viewers, and given how sentimental I am of a person, I was actually afraid of watching this anime. So I decided to watch this anime in the summer of 2022 when I didn't have to go to college because I don't want this anime to affect me in my academic studies. Anyways, a month ago, I took a leap of faith and started watching Evangelion. So before I get to the story itself, let's talk about the OP, the ED, and the art style. Obviously, the art style is really old because this anime is really old. I don't think I've ever in my life watched an anime this old before. I don't think I have. I think at this point, like before Evangelion, the oldest anime I've ever watched, I think is probably like anime series. I think is Full Metal Alchemist 2003 version. Of course, I've seen Akira like a little earlier in early July, but still, this is the oldest anime series I've ever watched, and honestly, it feels very different from the conventional mainstream modern anime nowadays. But truth be told, I like the art style. I think the colors, the design, the cinematography is really nice. I know it's an anime, it's animated, so cinematography, what are you talking about? But by that I mean the usage of wide shots and mediums and close-ups and the composition, the framing. It does get pretty interesting from time to time. And I genuinely love the opening. The opening, Takashi Yoko's Cruel Angel's Thesis, Zangoku na tenshi no yoni. That is just brilliant. It's iconic, it's brilliant. I love singing this song in my spare time. It's amazing. It's an amazing song. I love how passionate it is. I love the hand drums. It's just majestic. And the visuals accompanying this song, the jump cuts, it's all so astounding. And then we have the ED, where Ano Hideaki basically commissioned 26 covers of Fly Me to the Moon. We have Takashi Yoko's Fly Me to the Moon. We have Claire's Fly Me to the Moon. We have the Rei version, the Asuka version, the Misato version. We have all sorts of the jazzy version, the piano version, the orchestral version. And we just have 26 different covers of Fly Me to the Moon. And I think Fly Me to the Moon is the perfect ED for an anime like this. It is moody, melancholic, and it just ends off every episode feeling kind of dreamy and nice. And I love Rei upside down spinning in the moon. It's just such an aesthetic. So needless to say, the OPs and the EDs are amazing. I love them all, and it's great. Now let's talk about the story itself, and this is where it starts to get a little tricky for me to talk about this anime. First of all, we have the first 6 episodes, and I'm gonna be honest here, I like it. I like the first 6 episodes. Do I think it's the greatest anime opening ever, like opening few episodes? No, but the first 6 episodes are nice. I did enjoy the first 6 episodes. I don't know why, even though the story doesn't really like develop into something super interesting in the first 6 episodes, there's something sort of alluring about it. It's kind of moody, it's kind of depressing, and kind of futuristic as well. And because of that, there's almost something alluring about it. Like, I want to watch more of it. And I guess it's also the very clean directing. I mean, obviously, this isn't just Ano Hideaki style. Pretty much all the well-known Japanese films and artsy Japanese films of that era have this clean-cut style of directing. And it's just something about that in anime form that's just kind of cool to me. I really like episode 2, where Shinji... by the way, spoilers for the entire show. I will not hold back here. On episode 2, when Shinji first got into Unit 01, and he immediately failed, and Misato was like, Shinji! And then immediately jump cuts to Shinji waking up at a hospital. That is an amazing scene. That is fantastic. I cannot emphasize that enough. In episodes 5 and 6, Rei 1 and Rei 2, where we explore the character of Rei, honestly amazing, because Rei becomes the most interesting character at that point. And it's funny because she pretty much won't do or say anything for the following few episodes, which is kind of a shame, because again, Rei is easily the most interesting character at that point in time. So easily the first 6 episodes are pretty nice. But now it starts to get worrying. We have episodes 7 to 14. And watching this anime has become a bit of a frustrating experience for me, because I want to like it. I want to love it. A lot of people are like, oh my god, Evangelion, it's crazy. You know, on IMDb and on my anime list, it's not that high ranked, but on Letterboxd, it's ranked very high. I think it's the 4th highest rated anime series on Letterboxd. So that sort of implies that Evangelion is not for the mainstream audience. It's more artsy, it's more philosophical, and art house fans will love this more. So I thought, oh my god, I'm gonna freaking love it. And my roommate's playing music again. Yeah, I'm I guess underwhelmed would be the right word. And I feel like partially it's on me. I went into Evangelion with such high expectations. And I also feel like when I watch this, I'm just too tired. I'm just too burnt out to be able to enjoy anything, because in July and August, I've worked on 2 short films, and I've pretty much watched a movie or a TV episode or an anime episode every single freaking day. So I'm actually kind of burnt out right now. So maybe that's the reason why I didn't enjoy this as much as I wanted to. Or maybe it's because I was in the wrong headspace. I was not in the right headspace to enjoy Evangelion. I just came back to LA, and or actually when I watched this bit, yeah, I guess it was around the time I came back to LA. I actually stopped after episode 10 and finished Better Call Saul, and then returned to LA, and then I continued from episode 11 onwards. But maybe it's because I just came back to LA and I'm kind of stressed out, so I didn't really care about anything else other than my own survival in this hostile city. So I guess I just wasn't in the right headspace to enjoy Evangelion, but I really did not enjoy it all that much because not a lot happens. Not a lot happens. The story pretty much sticks to a similar formula on every single damn episode. We have Shinji, we have Rei, and then a little bit later we have Asuka. And then an angel happens. Oh my god. Bong, 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 bong. And they fight the angel and they fail. And then they fight the angel again and they win. And then that's it. That's the whole episode. Every single episode is like that. And I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's formulaic. And it's like nothing happens. Now, I have a way to cope with this because at one point, I think around after episode 10 or after episode 11 or something, I went to Reddit and I went to Letterboxd to search for answers. Why do people love this show? I'm not loving it right now. Why do people love this show? And a lot of people on Letterboxd, when they review this anime, they're like, oh, we all thought this is a cool robot angel fighting anime, but turns out it is a psychological drama. And when I first read these reviews before I even watched Evangelion, I thought, okay, maybe it's because the psychological aspects outshine the robot alien angel stuff. But actually, they meant that those reviews meant that the whole robots versus angels thing, it's all a ruse. It doesn't even matter what happens there. It doesn't even matter. It's all a ruse. It's all a disguise. In reality, the whole anime of Evangelion is a psychological drama. It is a character study of the main characters of Shinji, Asuka, Rei, Misato, and so on and so forth. And because of that, if I view it as a psychological drama, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. And I guess one way to cope with the fact that nothing ever happens in the first half is that if you look at the classic psychological drama films like Persona or Woman in the Dunes, also not a lot happens in those movies in the first half. So I guess if you look at Neon Genesis Evangelion as a movie and not an anime series, maybe then you could forgive, oh, okay, at least even though nothing happens in the first half, the insanity that is the second half will completely justify the nothingness of the first half. But at the end of the day, it's still an anime series, so I didn't really know what to think of it. And also, partially when I went into Evangelion, I thought I would enter a very intricate and sophisticated world full of interesting lore with all these angels and these Evangelion robots and all these organizations and all these character reveals and world building, sort of like Attack on Titan. Hell no! This is not that at all. Whatsoever. This is not that. If you enter Evangelion thinking that you're going to get some really interesting world building, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to be confused and disappointed because that is literally not the point here, even though I wish it is. And even so, if I view Evangelion as a pure psychological drama and all the robots and angel stuff are all a ruse and all a distraction. Even so, I didn't really enjoy it all that much. Asuka's introduction episode, I find it pretty boring. And Kaji's introduction wasn't great either. When Kaji, the character, first entered the story, he felt like a side character that's easily disposable, not really all that important. And then, of course, we have the dance episode, which is kind of fun, where Shinji and Asuka had to live together and they have to dance together, and I don't feel anything out of it. It just feels like a joke chapter. You know how manga has joke chapters? It just feels like that. That's all. Moving into the second half of Evangelion, we have episodes 15 to 19 where we see a very, very gradual change from the robots versus angels fighting mecha anime to psychological drama. And by gradual, I mean very, very gradual. So I truly did at one point while watching episodes 7 to 14, I thought that the anime is just gonna suddenly plunge me into absolute dark, deep depression, and it's going to become super psychologically traumatizing. Nope, that didn't happen either. I thought it's going to be like ReZero Season 1, where I think on episode 15, it just slams its viewers into absolute dread and depression. Nope, that didn't happen. It's very gradual, actually. So obviously, episode 19 of Evangelion and episode 14 feels like two very different animes, but it's so gradual that you almost don't even notice the change. And I guess in that way, it's also cool because if it's a sudden drop in tone, then it would feel very jarring. And so I get that. I like that it's gradual, but because of that, I wasn't shocked either. I wasn't surprised. So we arrive at episode 19, Introjection, and a lot of insane shit happens on this episode. But here's the thing: I wasn't shocked. When I watched episode 19, I didn't find myself enjoying it 100%. I didn't find myself going, oh my god, why? I didn't find myself emotionally distraught while watching the episode. And yeah, a good anime doesn't have to make you emotionally distraught, but there have been tons of animes and movies and even TV shows that had made me feel things, but not this episode. So I wasn't really shocked. And when I learned that this episode is the highest rated episode on IMDb, I was a little bit disappointed. Is that it? Is that the best Evangelion has to offer to me? But then looking back, this episode does come off really emotionally intense. And I think partially it's my fault as well. I think partially it's on me for not enjoying it, because usually I'm really into this sort of stuff. Usually I would love this sort of stuff. You know, characters going insane, defying their own characters, reaching an emotional climax, violence, gore, a really crazy, horrifying ending. I love this stuff. Why didn't I? Why didn't I enjoy this episode as much as I wanted to? I don't know. Maybe it's because I just wasn't 100% in on the ride. Maybe it's because at that point I wasn't 100% on Shinji. Like, I really need to be completely rooting for Shinji and hoping for the best for him in order to really feel the absolute weight of this episode. I do not know. But I wish I could have enjoyed this episode more, is all I'm trying to say here. And then we have the last leg. We have episodes 20 to 21, which is basically Shinji's insanity arc. And I like it, actually. It's trippy, it's weird, it's very abstract, and also not very emotionally traumatizing for me. But there are a few points on these two episodes when it's almost relatable for me. It's almost relatable because you see Shinji basically dealing with his own hatred for his father because of how his father had abandoned him. And then he basically took that hatred and internalized it, and now he hates himself. And he basically went through his entire life. When he was dissolving in Unit 01, he was basically going through his entire life, all the people he's met, Rei, Asuka, Misato, and everyone else, even his classmates at school. And he basically cherry-picked all of those people and his experiences with those people and basically turned it into a compilation of, okay, I'm worthless, I'm useless, everybody hates me, everybody sees that I'm useless, and they either hate me for it and they don't want anything to do with me, or they pity me and they try to help me, but knowing that it's pointless. And all this builds up to, I'm useless, I'm worthless, I mean nothing, so there's no point in trying to connect with other people because I'm just the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. So I'm gonna isolate myself and I'm gonna just let myself in this loneliness. And for a few moments, I can almost relate to that. And that's kind of awesome, but only for a few moments. Again, I feel like if I had been with this character and completely in on the story, maybe I would have really felt the weight of this episode. But I just didn't. And I don't know why. And then we have episode 22, which is basically Asuka's episode, where it's Asuka's turn to have a mental breakdown and become really angry and hateful with herself. And I guess one thing is, before that, Asuka was honestly my least favorite character. She's really annoying. She's a braggadocious brat who just constantly hates on everyone else. I'm an adult. You suck. Idiot Shinji. Rei is a doll. I'm the best. Of course I'm the best. And I know this isn't it to her character. I know there's more to it. I know she goes deeper. But when the story actually reveals that she has a deeper side, that she's only doing this to disguise her pain and her loneliness because of how her mother has mentally deteriorated, and how she wants to prove to the world that she's an adult, that she can do this, but really she can't. And she hates herself for it. It's interesting, except the way the show suddenly revealed Asuka's real, I guess, mind. It's like a very rapid outpour of information, and it's just so much to handle. I feel like it would have been easier for me to digest all this information if Asuka's psychological reveal is longer than one episode. Maybe if it goes over several episodes, maybe I would have been more into this episode, but I guess not. And again, the trippy sequences on this episode is similar to that of Shinji's trippy sequences. It's the same repetitive shots. It's the same, rapid fire layered voices in her head. And I like these repetitive shots because not only because it's trippy and mind-boggling, but also there's almost a religious vibe to it. But also not, also not really. Anyways, we enter episodes 23 and 24, and honestly, these two episodes are my favorite two episodes. We have Rei's Insanity arc, which is less of an insanity episode, more of a revelation, which I think is really awesome. An awesome revelation that I didn't see coming, but I also thought it's really cool, that I also thought it's really dark, and I really like that stuff. But it's less of an insanity arc. I want to see more of Rei's psychology, but I'm not seeing enough of it, I guess. And of course we have episode 24, which is arguably the absolute climax of the whole show. We have Kowaru, the white-haired boy on the cover of the poster. For the longest time I was like, okay, who the hell is this white-haired boy? What is he doing here? Why haven't I seen him yet? He shows up, and turns out he's the final antagonist of the series. He's the final villain. He's the final angel. And it's great, actually. I really like that the final angel is just a little boy. I really love that, because throughout the whole series, every single angel is scarier than the last one, and every single angel is more powerful than the last one. And it's almost like the hallway scene in The Silence of the Lambs, where you walk down this hallway full of mentally insane people, and it gets darker and crazier and more horrifying, and then at the very end of that hallway you see a very polite Hannibal Lecter. And it's sort of like the same here, except instead of Hannibal Lecter, we have Kowaru, the white-haired boy. And it's great, it's horrifying, and what really shocked me in this episode, though, are the homosexual isms that I completely did not anticipate, but I kind of enjoyed, because it's almost like the show is presenting something homosexual and completely lets you know that it doesn't even matter. All Shinji needs is love and care. And the only person who cares about him is a freaking angel, which is evil, by the way, And it's dark, again, really dark, and I like that. I really love that stuff. But also unexpected. And also Ode to Joy. Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Also the Hallelujah in Asuka's episode, on episode 22, really great. But Ode to Joy is just fantastic. And to think that an anime used Ode to Joy in 1996 as an insert song is just brilliant. I really freaking love that bit. So obviously I loved episode 24. And the shot where Unit 01 was holding Kowaru, maybe that shot was even longer than the elevator shot. And I love long takes like this. Usually, it's just a JPEG. It's just an image, Not really JPEG, just an image. It's just a frame. But it's such a deciding moment that you really want to meddle in that frame. So there's that. Now we enter the last two episodes, the controversial, the notorious, the infamous episodes 25 and 26. In these two episodes, I was honestly ready for it. After 23 and 24, I almost thought to myself, you know what? I really like this now. I really like this now. Maybe 25 and 26 are going to be great. Maybe I'm going to enjoy the last two episodes. What the hell? Okay, first of all, I don't hate the last two episodes, but nor do I love them, because the last two episodes are a lot different from what I had expected. It's basically a psychological recap. It's basically a compilation. These two episodes are compilation episodes. They're both compilations. Black screen, white text, footage we've seen before, or maybe we haven't seen before. But no plot, no narrative at all, just a compilation for 40-something minutes straight. Yes. And I didn't really know what to think of it. I mean, a show like this does need episodes like this, especially episode 25, where we have Shinji, Asuka, Ade, and Misato basically fighting against their own inner demons, their own thoughts. You know, Misato using drugs and sex as a way of coping with her own trauma. Ade coping with her own identity or the lack thereof, and Asuka and Shinji's way of coping with their own inner demons. But at the same time, the way it's presented, it's one big compilation. It's not even that trippy. And then we have episode 26, which I think is better. There are a few moments on episode 26 that I genuinely think it's groundbreaking, like the usage of real life photos. I don't know that many other animes that use actual real life photos and videos. The only other few animes I know that do that is Bakemonogatari, Sangatsu no Rayon, and Wonder Egg Priority. That's it. So that's amazing. I really love that. And also, all these characters, the entire anime breaking down into mere pen and paper drawings. That is really amazing. And then even afterwards, we have an alternate reality where Shinji goes to school and everyone's happy. Ade is happy. She is your average new transfer student biting her toast while running on the streets. Misato is really happy. Everyone's really happy. And Shinji is not lonely anymore. He has friends. And it's powerful. It's really powerful shit. Except I don't know what's wrong with me, because if I was 100% emotionally affected by the series in the first place, I would have felt extremely overwhelmed by the last episode. I would have been just absolutely broken. But I wasn't, unfortunately. I watched the last episode last night, and honestly, I didn't really feel much from it. I mean, yeah, it's great. It's groundbreaking. If any other animes do this, ReZero does this. When ReZero has the episode where, Subaru goes back to real life and meets his mother again, I was feeling it. When Attack on Titan had these flashback episodes, I was feeling it. And even when, I can't really think of a movie or a TV show right now that does that. I mean, Mr. Robot sort of does that as well. But sometimes psychological movies would go so far as to completely break down the form of cinema. Everything Everywhere All at Once sort of does that, but I would feel it usually. But for some reason in freaking Evangelion, I just didn't feel what I wanted to feel. So I didn't know. I guess I wasn't really I wasn't really left shocked or anything after this episode. So yeah, one thing I'd like to mention though is that by the time I finished watching this episode last night, it was actually already around 4:50 a.m. in the morning. I basically took a shower and went to bed, and I had a dream, and then I woke up earlier today. And so let me talk about what happened in that dream, right? I guess it was a little bit into the future, and it was a little bit into the future. I guess maybe the next semester of my college is over. Maybe my entire college life is over. University life, it's all over. And I go back to Hong Kong, and I go back to my school. Go back to not only any other school, but my school, the school. And I saw all these people, and they look young. They look like they don't look like who they look like now. They look like they're from 2018 or 2017. They're in their school uniforms. Natalie has short hair again. Everyone's back. Queenie, Keith's hair is not dyed anymore. Everyone's back. And they're all looking at me, and it was almost like I was watching a Zoom meeting. They're all looking at me, and they're all laughing and smiling and saying, "Hi, Enoch. Hi." And everyone's nice to me. People who used to be friends with me, people who used to be enemies to me, people who don't really know me all that much, they're all saying hi. And it's really nice. And it's almost like one really beautiful conclusion. It's almost like the ending to Lost. It's almost like I died and I went to heaven, but the heaven is really the school because it's all in my head. Now, why the hell would I have a dream like that? I don't know. I really don't. But it wasn't long until I realized that this dream is basically the ending of episode 26, but instead of me, it's Shinji with the omedeto scene. And I realized that, and I mean this as kind of a joke, I realized that my unconscious is enjoying this more than my conscious is. So shout out to Sigmund Freud, I guess. But even so, even with this freaking dream that I had last night, I still don't find this episode all that great. It's not that trippy. It's not as trippy as I would have liked it to be, but also there are still tons of questions. Like, why are there angels? What are their true intentions? Why did Gendo create Seal? Why did this happen? What are the Dead Sea Scrolls? I mean, I sort of understand that the Dead Sea Scrolls are almost like a prophecy, like a script, but not really. And I'm glad I have some basic knowledge on biblical anthropology because the Dead Sea Scrolls are literally manuscripts from centuries ago with the Bible written on it. And also, my name is Enoch Lai, okay? My first name is Enoch. So naturally, I had been interested and I knew about the book of Enoch. So seeing all these angels and these fallen angels and their names being named after these fallen angels, like I'm really curious. But these questions are not answered at all. Also, where's the fapping scene? I mean, I've heard memes about it, but isn't there a scene where Shinji faps to Asuka? Like, where's that scene? Is that in the end of Evangelion? Because I'm not seeing the scene at all in the show. So, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, let's just wrap this up. I know I've talked a lot already, and Evangelion is not an easy anime to talk about. But again, cinematography-wise, I like it, and I also surprisingly like the score. I think the music is great. It gets jazzy sometimes. The drumming track, whenever an angel shows up and there's drumming, it's a little repetitive. But I guess aside from that, the score in general is amazing. I really like the score. I like Hallelujah and Ode to Joy. I love Fly Me to the Moon, and at least there's that. So again, I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me because I usually love this sort of stuff. If the cinematography is great, if the score is great, if it gets psychological, if the characters have depth, if it gets trippy, if it gets philosophical, if it has biblical themes, for God's sakes, of course I would love it. Yet I didn't, and I don't know why. I mean, I don't hate it. And it's different because usually if I watch an anime that is not good, I would know it. I would genuinely know what's not good about it and why. Like if I watch Sword Art Online, I would know that, okay, the characters are poorly written, the story is terribly structured, it's not funny nor is it dramatic, there are no stakes at all, it's genuinely a terrible show. But in NGE, it has all the great elements, yet I just don't myself completely befuddled and flabbergasted while watching it. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. So, a couple of things, I guess. First of all, originally I planned to watch the end of Evangelion, maybe late October or early November. I will not. I will rewatch the whole NGE first. I will rewatch the whole Evangelion first, maybe next year. And if I end up enjoying this, then I'll watch the end of Evangelion. And maybe it is exactly because these characters and these plots of NGE are not powerful enough. Maybe that's why the rebuilds exist. I don't know. Because on episodes 25 and 26, given how Asuka is still suffering, I was really hoping that the final scene would be Shinji giving Asuka a hug or something, because I genuinely felt bad for Asuka. After what Asuka experienced, I really wanted her to be loved. I really wanted people to tell her that, hey, it's okay, we love you. I genuinely want that scene to happen. And it did not. And it did not. Why? Why? And when episode 26 is for Shinji only, by the way. So the entirety of episode 26 is dedicated to Shinji. But at the same time, Asuka, Misato, Rei, their arcs are not finished yet. They are still emotionally suffering. Asuka is still in that bloody bathtub as we speak. So there's no conclusion to that at all. Maybe that is exactly the reason why the end of Evangelion exists. I don't know. So I really don't know what's going on at the end. I just do not. I just don't think I fully grasped this show. And I also think I'm burnt out. Evangelion made me realize that I'm burnt out. So I actually originally, I planned to watch tons of movies in September. I actually planned to watch 14 movies, and a whole K-drama and a whole anime, and also because I'm also going back to college, so I'm taking a film class and I will have to watch films. But you know what? Screw it all. I just changed my watch list for next month from 14 movies to like 5 movies, because I realized that I'm beginning to not be able to enjoy movies anymore. You know, I watched Paprika yesterday as well, and even though it's amazing, again, I feel like I'm not enjoying it as much as I wanted to, and that pretty much, I can pretty much say the same thing for every single movie I've watched in the last couple of months. I mean, there are movies that really shock me and I enjoy it, but I miss the feeling of suddenly running into a movie and suddenly becoming entranced by it. It feels as though I almost cannot do that anymore, because I just watch too much. I watch too many movies, I watch too many TV shows, I watch too many animes, and I just need to take a break. And I also need to develop a habit of watching movies simply out of pleasure. You know, rewatch them just for my own sake, not to review them or anything, because I do that all the time. So yeah, I just need a rest is all. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna give this a rating, and I probably will give this a rating by the time I finish watching it again. You know, and this isn't like the first show ever where I had to like rewatch in order to give a rating. I mean, I could say the same thing for True Detective, because I like the first time I watched True Detective, it's like, oh, what the hell did I even watch? I mean, it's not bad, but I just don't get it. And sometimes, like Evangelion, sometimes the scenes are so short and so weightless that I feel like I'm watching frickin' In the Mood for Love, which is a movie that I have to rewatch in order to feel something from it either. So yeah, I guess this anime warrants a rewatch, and yeah, I'll take a break in September. In September, I won't force myself to watch movies. And maybe in 2023, I'll stop doing the whole watch list thing, because I feel like it's not healthy. For my movie enjoying experience, it doesn't feel healthy anymore. Thanks to Evangelion. So yeah, these are my thoughts. I will do another extremely lengthy review, maybe after I rewatch this once or twice more. And subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Yes.